Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with some more Warhammer 3 gameplay, this time a land battle focused in what I assume to be the Mountains of Morn. It kind of just looks at it geographically. Now, before we begin, I do have to state that this is obviously recorded by Creative Assembly that was given to us a little earlier, and of course, anything that you do see is development in progress, so anything like stats and so on could be subject to change. I know that's getting a little annoying, but I do have to state it every video. So what do we have here? Well, we have the forces of Grand Cathay, a rather mixed force with two Sentinels. The Sentinels were quite powerful as we've seen so far, versus the forces of Tzeentch. This is range on Tzeentch's part and magic versus a bit of everything, as obviously Grand Cathay is that type of faction which has decent range, decent melee, and obviously some decent magic too. Interestingly enough, no other heroes for Grand Cathay, but there is a war compass and it's a decent composition, enough artillery to start just firing at the enemy directly as soon as the game begins, and the map itself is quite cool. I don't think I've showcased this map before. It's interesting, there's a lot of trees dotted around everywhere, it's very much all slopes as far as we can see, but no big terrain pieces to stop the enemy, barring just a little bit of mountainside on the side. Now, obviously, as the battle begins, as we expected, with Cathay having so much artillery at the beginning, well, just two pieces, but enough to do enough damage, we can already start seeing the Tzeentchian forces getting hit hard. The obvious thing is that obviously Tzeentch does have that barrier, so that needs to go down first before Tzeentch starts taking some proper losses and proper damage. Cathay here is more focused on holding down. Of course, this is a Creative Assembly developer, and has already started turning Miao Ying into her dragon form in an effort to start meeting any enemies head-on straight. Now, this is quite interesting, the fact that the Cathayan forces are so held up together. Of course, we know that this is because of the yin and yang mechanic, that you want to keep range and melee together, so it's very much like playing dwarfs in a sense, but still being able to still be quite aggressive, as we were told that the range units would still be able to hold up their own in any form of combat. The Tzeentchian forces are trying to flank, but it's a little bit difficult, as we've already seen with Miao Ying just going down and taking something head on, and they are trying. Kairos is moving straight in, and I still don't understand why the AI does that, especially with the other Lord of Change too, because they're just moving into the direct path of the Sentinels, which means that they're going to get hit. Yes, Lords of Change should be able to do decent amount of damage on melee, but they're not a Bloodthirster, they're not a Keeper of Secrets, they're not a Great Unclean One. These are spellcasters, so just taking them directly in, it's a bad tactic in my opinion, but then again, this is Total War AI, which doesn't generally make the best decisions. We have seen some decent flanking here with some Knights of Tzeentch going from the side, and has been able to do a decent amount of damage to some Halberdiers, which obviously is quite good, though the amount of anti-large units doesn't really make too much sense here, as Tzeentch doesn't have a lot of large stuff. The Tzeentchian forces mostly focused around infantry and cavalry. Now, Miao Yin's been able to do a decent amount of damage to, I believe, a herald. It could be a herald, we can't see too well, but there's damage output being done all over the place. Tzeentch is able to do a decent amount of damage. That war compass is almost gone. The artillery pieces have taken a lot of hits, which is quite surprising, but the main brunt of the Cathayan army still remains pretty much untouched, which we kind of expected, as they were able to pepper down from quite afar. Now, what we have been able to see is obviously some horrors being hitting Miao Yin, and she's taken some damage. A lot of spellcasting has been done here, which I'm assuming is the most damage that's been done to Cathay has been done as friendly fire. The problem with these types of battle replays is that they just give you the one replay, you're not able to get it from multiple sides and so on, so I do apologize if I'm skipping out on some things. Now, what we have seen is that Tzeentch is using magic quite heavily and has been able to do some damage quite heftily. It's not a drastic change by any way, shape or form, but it's nice to see that the AI is not being completely stupid and is able to just bring some other stuff to the table and hit the enemy where it needs to be hit. We've seen some decent spells on Tzeentch's part, and we have seen like the Exalted Flamer be able to do a decent amount of damage, as it might not have a lot of range, but it is very devastating. The Cathayan forces have broken a little bit. We're expecting the player to win because it's a player thing, as obviously if you compare player capability to AI, the player's always going to be a bit smarter than the AI, though it's looking a bit even, which is kind of nice. And there is a lot of heavy damage here. A lot of units have taken a lot of damage. The compass is almost gone, but still standing. I'm assuming that it's been moved out of the way. Pretty much one of the artillery pieces is almost gone. The other one has been taken out completely. Well, it's just the units now. So the damage is there. The damage is there. And this is impressive. This is what we want to see. We want to see these types of battles because it shows it in a very neutral point of view, where it's not all very one-sided as some of the battles being shown today are going to be. But this is cool, and I'm impressed with the fact that the AI is able to dish it out as well as take it in some cases. Considering that Tzeentch did not have the bonus of long-range artillery, especially with those types of hell rockets which are able to do damage from so far, this was still good to see Tzeentch being able to go in. We are starting to see Tzeentch's forces way out, and yeah, it kinda is expected, but it's a lot better than we had hoped for. Obviously, we have to also keep in mind that these aren't the complete rosters, and some units would be better against Tzeentch than others, and some units would be better against Cathay than others, so they just had to go with a very small amount of stuff. Everything is being showcased in a very fluffy sense, though I must say that given the Cathayan stuff that we've seen so far, this might be one of the better armies that we've been shown, because it's extremely varied, but it still has a lot of cool stuff. I would have personally not gone for so much stuff which is anti-large, considering who the army was, maybe gotten a few more crossbows, but that would have ended the battle way too soon, and obviously Creative Assembly want to showcase a lot of stuff. We've seen spellcasting, we've seen abilities, we've seen ups and downs coming from all the different locations. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start talking here, I'm going to have the official audio playing so you guys can listen to the unit cards and so on, listen to the actual battle. I am pretty much kind of feeling tired on the throat already because, yeah, 7 videos today, not fun.
Rocket battery!
Ways of the soul.
Dragon Guard! Lord of Heaven!
View of the dragons! Guided by ancestors!
But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various links to different social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. Also in the description section is an affiliate link with Element Games where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase using that link and also our special code, which is also in the description, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. It's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A big thank you to Gibraltar LUSC, Ryan Bertsche, Andrew Prince, and Okro for subscribing to us at our Fane level. You guys are super cool. And a big thank you to Edward Yule, VS Vasan, Aaron Whitman, and Shaggy for subscribing to us at our King level. Honestly, we can't thank you all enough. And lastly, a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. Honestly, it's because of you guys that the channel has been growing at such a great pace lately, so we can't thank you all enough. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.